when we thought about doing Needham Night tonight, we could have put you on a big stage with our full chamber audience, and that would have made a lot of sense. But this is where it began. It began over Costa's Pizza, and that was what? That was 22 years ago.
That was 315 Chestnut Street. Loved the location. Ooh, but the smell of pizza after work every day, that was tough.
Tell us what that office was like. How many people were up there? What was it?
We were above a pizza place and a dry cleaner, and it was the classic kind of garage startup. There were a couple of us. We grew to 8 or 9. Yeah, then we outgrew it and had to move.
Yeah. And what was the idea then? What was the product? What were you trying to do when you first started TripAdvisor?
It was this crazy idea that maybe you could get better advice on the internet, that wild, wild west of an internet, if you actually had in mind where you wanted to go, what you want to do, where you want to eat, and you didn't want to rely on, beautiful public or beautiful glossy brochures from travel agents or from the hotel or from the restaurant themselves. So it was easy to find a phone number or something on the internet. It was hard to find good advice that you could trust. And so we wanted to build a site that would allow travelers like me at the time to be able to pick a good hotel and have that wonderful vacation.
And was it called TripAdvisor from the start? Where did that name come from?
Yeah, technically it was actually incorporated as tripresearch.com. And
why did you change?
Well, some folks in marketing than I said, oh my God, that's exactly what I want to think about, going to the library. No, Steve, I'm going on vacation. Make it a little bit more exciting. So TripAdvisor was born. We bought the domain for an outrageous sum as a startup, which was $10,000 at the time. And TripAdvisor was launched, incorporated, had a lot of missteps along the way, almost went out of business right after September 11th, managed to turn the corner, figure out how to get to that magical startup moment of break even, and yeah, $1.5 billion in revenue now. So,
all right. So an important question: when did the owl come in?
Oh, the owl was a trip. My wife and I did a little B&B weekend getaway in Maine. Like the owl came back with it. Somebody saw and said, "Oh, that might work as a good kind of logo for the company." Okay.
Yeah. All right. So you moved from Costa's to where?
To Rosemary Street, where Brew Moon used to be for a while. Over their headquarters for some folks as old as I on the call, right behind the library there.
Yeah, and after, is that when you went to Newton after that?
And that lasted for a little bit. Then we went to Hillside near Center Automotive, new building, occupied 1 floor and then a couple, and then finally outgrew that and flipped over to Needham to Newton on Needham Street.
And then you made that really big decision that really changed a lot of things for the town of Needham, when you made a decision to build in your marquee headquarters in Needham, right there on the highway. Help us think, that decision was tough. You could have gone anywhere. I mean, you knew the world. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to be back in Needham in that spot. Why was that? What was the thinking there?
Well, the candid story, if I may be so bold as to share here, is, I live in Newton here on Dudley Road at the moment, but it moved around a little bit in Newton. And there were some folks in the company that are thinking, hey, to attract the young type, we should really think about moving into Cambridge or Seaport. But, we do the little map of where all the current employees are, and surprise, surprise, they're all located essentially in a circle around current headquarters, which was on Needham Street in Newton. And so I think I had made a remark to the head of real estate at the time, sure, you can look in Seaport, but that's too far away for me to commute. So really, we're going to stay within a reasonable circle of where the CEO lives. I joke because it was the only thing I told new folks as they were joining, because we didn't know where we would move to. Some worried we'd be moving to California or wherever. I'm like, no, like I'm settled here. My roots are here. We're going to stay here. So it then became where nearby to Newton, Needham, Dedham, maybe as far up as Waltham. And, Needham had everything we wanted. They had land, they had the ability to build. It was a great community. Schools are excellent. So we were going for not the 20-year-olds or 22-year-olds in Cambridge. We were going for the reliable workforce that was either willing to commute out to the suburbs or was already in the burbs.
Right. But when you got there, when you opened up and you looked out the window, there was nothing else around you. Now it's very different than how that park is today with, Shark Ninja and NBC Boston and a lot of other companies, but there was nothing there. And we're really appreciative that you chose that, because that did spark the economic growth and development that's meant so much.
And likewise, we were very happy to be an anchor tenant. We're happy to have more tech companies in. The town of Needham was very cooperative in the process for us. So it all just, I think, worked out really well for Needham, and obviously worked out tremendously for TripAdvisor.
Well, fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about how the pandemic was. We know it was brutal on the travel industry. What was that like, and more importantly, where is travel now? What are you seeing in terms of that?
Yeah, so we had run as a profitable company every quarter since 2002. And we were a very profitable company, proud to say. And overnight, we saw our revenue drop 90%. It's like, boom. And, we had cash in the bank, but not enough to persevere. Fortunately, the financial markets were open, so we were able to borrow money, which we did. We did quickly. We hung around. We did some cuts, but like everyone, we had to adapt to the reality of no travel for a while. And then we saw, a year go by last summer. Wow, the US was really back into full swing travel-wise. We saw numbers better than 2019 for a brief period of time, but Europe and the rest of the world, not so much. Then Omicron came and boom, everything went back down. Pretty much everyone in the travel space had a unpleasant January. And then, hey, February started looking up. And if you're looking at the numbers that airlines and other travel companies are posting, the world is back out again traveling. Not quite as much in the Far East, but definitely in US and Europe. Hint to friends, if you haven't, made your summer travel plans now, you're a bit behind the curve. And I don't usually say that in late April for the summer, but airfare is going to be the limiting factor, just the number of flights that are scheduled because of pilot shortages, and other times the length of time it takes the airlines to get back into service takes a little while, unfortunately. So it's going to be a great summer if you're in the hospitality business, and an expensive travel summer if you're an ordinary consumer.
Yeah, so fascinating. So now you're stepping down after 20 years, and I'd love to know a little bit about why you decided to do that at this point, but also what you're going to do next. Are you just going to spend the time playing that guitar behind you? Do you what?
A good guess.
Yeah.
Several in the company have thought that. So to the first question, look, at 22 years at the helm, that's a hell of a ride. The company was literally a 3-person startup to a multi-billion-dollar public company. Really proud of that. Really proud of the impact we've had on hundreds of thousands or millions of really small businesses looking to make a difference out there without a marketing budget, right? You're listed on TripAdvisor, you collect reviews, it's free. It doesn't cost a business anything, yet their reputation gets the worldwide platform. That's TripAdvisor. I didn't want to go anywhere. As much as I might have been teased or thinking about doing something else during the pandemic, no, I absolutely felt I had to stay steer the company through it. And so I announced last November that it was time for me. I think I have one more professional adventure left in me, is what I say. And everyone, including myself, really wants to know what that is, because I don't know. I haven't had that other brilliant or exceptional or even interesting idea yet. But I'm also, well, I think I can be an effective CEO multitasking lots of different departments. When I'm all in on something, I'm all in. So right now, I'm still all in on TripAdvisor until my successor's name. Hopefully soon, but you'll know when it's all, you'll know when I know, essentially, when it's all said and done. At that point, I'll allow myself to, like, all right, I get a little bit of a break, a vacation, and I let my mind not wander, but turn to what comes next. Small company, probably, high tech, probably, internet, probably, just because those leverage my skill sets, and I'm definitely looking for small, not mid-size or big.
Yeah, well, fantastically. Can't wait to see where that goes. And I really want to thank you. You have been, and TripAdvisor has been so supportive of the chamber, and a friend of the chamber through this whole time, and we appreciate that. Even during your lean times and when you were very challenged with the pandemic, you were there supporting us financially and stood with us. And we've had 3 of your great employees on our board of directors, and they've all made wonderful contributions over that time. And so for, on behalf of the chamber, thank you. On behalf of the town, thank you. I don't know how you thank a guy that seems to be able to, already knows the world, but we did get you a gift certificate for Costas. So
right.
Pizza's on us. And I've got to tell you, that's not easy because Costas doesn't have gift cards, certificates. I think you're the first ever in the history of Costas to get one. So we'll make sure we get that sent over to you. And again, Steve, all the best to you, and our gratitude and appreciation.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I enjoyed chatting with you. We love being in Needham. We're not going anywhere. And very kind again. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Be well.